What is going on? You're listening to TAGSPodcast, aka Talk About Gay Sex Podcast, celebrating 6 years of podcasting and sex positivity. This is episode 477. I am your host, Stevie, alongside holding down the fort with me today on a post-Pride weekend, Kodi Maurice Doggette. How the hell you doing?
Hello, darling. I'm feeling prideful and hungover, darling. How are you? What's going on?
And apparently our other two hosts did as well, because they are not joining us today. Now, they have other things going on. I was going to say issues, but so it's just you and I today, but we've got it covered, and we've got to get into this because I want to know, how was your Pride celebrations?
Pride was so great. We started on Friday. We went to Ladyland. It was underneath a bridge, which was kind of crazy to me, but it was wonderful. It was a wonderful festival. We saw my friend Jack perform, and it was really, really great. It was a great vibe going on. And then on Sunday, we went to the pier all the way in Bay Ridge. Can you believe it? It was so far out there. It took me like an hour and a half to get there from where I live. It was a different part of Brooklyn, basically. But when I got there, it was very wonderful. The venue was festival-ish. They had vendors there, and we had to wait for so many hours to see Christina. She didn't go until 9:00, but when she went on, baby, she was amazing. She did all the hits. She sounded amazing. She brought Adam Lambert onto the stage with her. She let her backup singers sing songs from Burlesque as well. Have you seen Burlesque? You know Burlesque?
Yes, of course.
Oh my God, it was so great, darling. I lived for Christina Aguilera. She was so great. And we even saw a listener of this podcast there. He came up to me. He was like, I listened to your podcast. I was waiting to get a cheeseburger, girl.
Up in your face. Nice.
Oh my gosh. I was like, oh, at least I'm not like eating the cheeseburger as he comes up to speak to me. Thankfully.
Very nice.
It was so wonderful. I love talking to listeners when I'm out in the real world to kind of get a sense of who's listening. So it was so wonderful.
Absolutely.
Shout out to him.
Absolutely. And, I was here in Puerto Vallarta, so was celebrating from afar. But I have to say, I had a great day. I was at the beach and doing some shopping. Super hot here. But we went to the grocery store afterwards, and my sister and I are shopping. We were going to barbecue. We're at this really cool store called La Comer. Really unique foods there. They've got fresh tortillas, and we were cooking up some steaks.
Ooh.
And no sooner did we walk in there, and I look up. I'm in the produce section, and I look up, and I see this guy looking at me. Very sexy guy looking at me. And so I'm looking back at him, and we did that whole thing, meandering through the eggplants, all the vegetable area, and he kept looking up at me, and I was looking back at him. And so finally, I just couldn't help it. My sister went to go get a pineapple, and he walked by me, and I said, hola. And he said, hello, in this really sexy voice. And I was like, am I about to meet somebody in a Mexican grocery store? I was so excited. And we ended up, he came back over to me, and we started stroke up a conversation. I said, my sister has a condo here, and that's why I'm here. And he said he moved from Mexico City.
Oh, wow.
He is an architect, and we ended up talking. I introduced him to my sister, and I said, can I get your information? And so we've been chatting from last night to today, and I'm planning on coming back in August already. So we plan on hopefully spending some time together and getting to know each other. But isn't that exciting to meet?
That's so lovely.
Because I think on the show, I talk so much about how I don't do well on the apps, or I'm in the bar scene. And yeah, I do meet guys sometimes there, but it's usually more on the hookup side. And the times that I have met guys where it was going to be something a little bit more, it was at the naked beach, or it was at a different place versus
The
something like
grocery store.
the
It's
grocery store.
it's
Exactly.
practically church, darling. It's very Emily in Paris.
Is it? I love it. Yes, it was, and it's so funny because we kept, it's a huge grocery store, and we kept, I would see him here and there, and he kept waving or looking back, and super sexy. We've been WhatsApping today, and it's kind of exciting and
That's
sexy at
so
the same time.
sweet. Oh, I can't wait to. You
Yeah.
know what I always say? I can't wait to meet him. I love meeting
Yes.
potential partners. I love it.
Exactly. Well, I'll keep you posted. I'll keep everyone posted on
Yes.
how it goes. But so
Yes.
far, good. Well, probably the last time I'm going to mention it, but we're finalizing a Pride promo giveaway sponsored by adamstoybox.com, where you can still, to the end of this month, get 25% off the entire site. All you got to do is go to adamstoybox.com, use our promo code TAGS25, get you 25% off everything. So take advantage of it in these last few days of June. And well, if you haven't already, take our survey. It's going to help us. It's for improving, which we always want to do. Give us some demographics for sponsors, and you will be entered into winning one of two Adam's Toy Box promo giveaways sponsored by Adam's Toy Box. And I'll be drawing the lucky winners come next week. So definitely listen in. Of course, I'll reach out to you if you miss an episode and email you if you're one of the lucky winners.
Very
So,
nice.
yeah, it's very exciting. Well, we love it when you talk back to us and give us your opinion on past topics. And Kodi and I were talking about gym, working out, hooking up with people that we meet at the gym. We were sharing our gym stories. And Sinfully, who follows us on our Instagram accounts, or respective ones, had something to say and weigh in on that topic. And he wrote, on the topic of gym connections, I would say I've hooked up in gyms from New York all the way out to Seattle. Small town gyms to big major brand gyms. And then I said, Steve, if the gym you mentioned in PV is the one I'm thinking of, then I have hooked up with guys there too. One was an employee. Ooh,
Oh
wow.
my
But no matter
goodness.
where you are and what gym you go to, it's all about connection and reading the room. That's a good one. I just
Yeah.
literally got out of that gym right now that I'm talking about. It's called Evolutions
Mhm.
here in the Versalles area of Puerto Vallarta. It is so hot, you guys, here. It's so humid. I mean, you walk out the door, I walk all over there, and I'm drenched. I have to have a
Wow.
power aid. There is no air conditioning in this gym. I went in the afternoon, and all the sexy boys, bodybuilders, are there. I was told they had a recent bodybuilding competition here, and they
Oh,
all work out there too. So if you hooked up with one of those guys, lucky you, Sinfully. I'm jealous because they are, yeah, it's equally inspiring to work out at this gym as it is, your tongue is out because you got to keep it focused
nice.
because there's a lot of distractions going on, but it's all good. I love it.
That's okay. I like to watch, so let's go.
Hey, all right. Nice. Okay, moving on. As many of you know, Pride was celebrated in San Francisco, Chicago, and New York this past weekend, but all month and year they've been celebrating. Talking about Pride in other parts of the world isn't always the same. There's LGBTQ plus activists defied a Pride ban and went ahead and held their annual march in Istanbul. So I'm talking about hundreds of people. They decided to defy a ban on staging an annual LGBTQ plus Pride march in Istanbul, and this resulted in more than 40 activists being detained. This happened on June 25th, where demonstrators, they waved rainbow flags, they took part in peaceful rallies in the Nistan Sea neighborhood after they were banned from Taksim Square. Well, despite heavy police presence and arrests that were made, the march was to go ahead without any street clashes. There was no police violence, though it did finish earlier than it was anticipated. And the governor of Istanbul said that any activity that threatens the institution of the family would not be allowed. And the police closed Taksim. Someone who took part in the march wrote on Twitter. But LGBTQ eyes found a way around it and did not give up the march. This year's Pride even took place against a backdrop of a homophobic election campaign fueled by anti-LGBTQ plus rhetoric, which came to an end just last month. So it's interesting because they are going, when you think everything's anti-LGBTQ plus currently in America, other parts of the world are facing, as we know, there's so much hate going on and even worse conditions in other countries. I'm here for these activists that decided to defy, because in places like that, you can be arrested, and they were. So hats off to them for going forward with this, because you really are often risking your lives and your freedom when you defy bans in certain parts of the world.
Oh, yeah, I totally agree. I love this. I think that this is a fantastic symbol of how we won't be silenced, and how just by showing up and showing out and making our voices heard out there in these streets, that we are letting people know that we are here and we're here to stay. I think that everyone should take a page out of this and make sure that they make their voices heard, whether it's here or across the globe. I know me personally, I was kind of reticent or reluctant to go out into any Pride festivals because I was worried about retaliation, but I bit the bullet. I said to myself, you have to do this, because if you don't show your pride, then the haters out there win, and we don't want that.
Absolutely. Well stated. Okay. Well, we have to move on, and we all love a good Pornhub moment. Well, there's some new owners who have taken over Pornhub, and we're talking about a Canadian private equity firm that goes by Ethical Capital Partners. So they bought it over MindGeek about 3 months ago, and also in their stable, they have YouPorn. Well, the acquisition also brought a sea of legal troubles, because you probably remember, Kodi, we were talking about Pornhub in the States, where certain states like Utah, and I think there was a couple others, that essentially, if you tried to go on to the site, you wouldn't be able to get it on because of age verification.
Yes,
so
I remember.
Pornhub decided to just, if you try and go on there, you're not going to even see it. And so what Pornhub's new owners really want is, they don't want it to be all about the websites that have to take control of age verification. What they really want is, when you download it, like Apple and Google, they want them to control the device, wherever you're downloading it from, to get the age verification from there, which I think makes more sense to go that route and not put it all on the websites. This new company, I was reading an article recently, they've really taken great strides, because there was a whole New York Times article, I believe it was in 2020, that really looked at the underside of Pornhub, and we're talking about rape videos, and we're talking about underage porn that was being shown on Pornhub. You could just watch it. And so New York Times did sort of a deep dive and exposed them. I mean, these new owners have really done a good job, according to what I've read, of taking away all of this and trying to get rid of, using the algorithms in a positive way to remove a lot of this horrible, insidious content that was on Pornhub. And so now with the new owners, they're still in that age verification system, but there was a quote by the new owners, and they essentially said that they want porn to be boring because it's about sexual expression, and they want it to be boring because they want it to be almost like the way pot and cannabis
I get it.
Made its way across the states now. I mean, where we live in New York, and of course, we were kind of late to the game. Other parts of the states have cannabis stores popping up left and right. Now it's almost like Starbucks. I'm sure in Brooklyn as well, there are so many cannabis stores that they kind of want it to just be another thing, as long as we can remove the insidious nature that has been associated with Pornhub, because it's porn. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just an adult. Yeah. So yeah, what did you think when you heard about this?
Oh yeah, I think this is great. I'm glad that Pornhub is doing their due diligence as far as making sure that children or underage people aren't able to see explicit things on the internet. But I think it should go further than that. I don't want it to go to a nationwide level, but maybe the parents, they should give them an app or something that they can install on their children's devices so that they're not able to access that type of thing. I think that at the end of the day, it's your kids. You should take some responsibility for them. So that's just my opinion on it. And I agree with Pornhub that porn should be normalized because sexual expression is very natural. So, yeah, that's just my opinion on this.
Right. Maybe if we didn't make sexuality such a taboo subject,
Yeah.
we would see less people gunning down and have less mental health, right? Because, sexual expression is a release, right?
Oh,
You can't
sure.
be who you are if you can't express yourself sexually. That leads to issues that come out in other ways. And we see it a lot happening.
Preach.
So, yeah. Okay. We had to talk about this next study because there's a brand new scientific study, y'all, that proves that men with large noses have bigger penises. You heard me right. I don't know if it's true, but they looked at 1,160 patients whose nose and penis size were measured. Nose size was determined by measuring the length, width, and height of the nose, which were used to calculate the volume of the triangular pyramid. Stretched penile length and penile circumference before erection were measured. The results? Well, the participants' average age was about 35.5 years. Mean SPL was penile length was 11.2 centimeters, and mean penile circumference was 6.8 centimeters. Univariate analysis revealed that body weight, body mass index, the serum testosterone level, and nose size were associated with the length of the SPL. And so multivariable analysis revealed that BMI and nose size were significant predictors of SPL.
Oh, okay.
The conclusion, nose size was a significant predictor of penile size. The sizes of the penis and nose increased with a decrease in body mass index. So it is interesting. It sounds like it's a little bit more than just nose that were looked at in this study. Body mass index as body weight, of course, looking at testosterone levels, but it is interesting to think that could be one indicator, because now all these people are going to run out, and when you see somebody who has a huge nose, all the size queens now are going to be following along like the Pied Piper.
And nobody's going to be checking for me. Oh my goodness, my nose is so little. I can't believe that, but it doesn't work. I mean, it's not factual in that instance. I have a very substantial penis and my nose is very small. So debunked. Okay, scientists, I have to tell you.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's maybe one indicator, but I'm sure not everybody with, for the longest time, obviously it was the size of someone's hands or feet, which we know that doesn't correlate half the time, right? And so, yeah, I mean, where I got this story, they actually showed some porn stars, one of them, Aiden Ward, who does have a nice size schnauzer on him. I'll put it in your feed right now. And he actually, if those of you who know, look up Aiden Ward, and he does have a nice sized dick on him, I have to say.
Let me take a look.
Also, people in this comment section said Atlas Xavier, who has a nice schnauzer and nice dick on him. So, yeah.
Okay, it might be one determining factor because all of these guys are very hot and they have pretty big, pretty nice, substantial noses and pretty nice, substantial penises. No, not penises, dicks. I'm sorry. I don't know
Thank
why.
you.
Correction, dicks.
Right. There you go. Thank you very much.
Cooks, darling, cooks.
Right. This episode of Tags Podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Hey guys, your buddy Stevie here, and as you know, we love giving advice on this show, and I think we do a pretty good job of it. But you know, sometimes you need a little bit something deeper. And I'm thinking of a time in my past relationship where I was on a downward spiral. Things weren't working out. I really didn't have anybody to talk to about it, and I was really depressed. I went to couples therapy with my boyfriend at the time, and I can honestly tell you it worked for us. We were having so much difficulty communicating, not seeing eye to eye, and a friend wasn't good enough because I knew they were just going to take my side. Couples counseling and therapy worked for us tremendously because it really got us, most importantly, to hear each other, to communicate to each other, and ultimately to respect each other. You know, we're always growing and evolving in life, and that's probably one of the best things about aging. But it's also important to know when to ask for help, and help can come in so many ways. I've learned so much now that when in need, to simply ask for help. Therapy is all about deepening your self-awareness and understanding, because sometimes we don't know what we want or why we react the way we do until we talk through things. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who can take you on that journey of self-discovery from wherever you are. Therapy can be so helpful in so many ways. You can find yourself in a deep depression, and a good therapist will give you the right tools, be a great sounding board for you, and really get you back up on your feet. I know it did for me when I was in my relationship and we sought couples therapy. It really just got me out of that deep funk that I was in that I couldn't seem to get out of, certainly not on my own. If you're thinking of therapy, you should really give BetterHelp a try. It's totally online and designed to be convenient, flexible, and totally works with your schedule. All you got to do is fill out a short questionnaire and you get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists anytime you want for no additional charge. So discover your potential with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/tags today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/tags, TAGS. Hims helps guys like you with all your health and wellness needs. Having issues getting hard in the bedroom? You're not alone, but Hims has you covered. Hims has lots of personalized options to treat ED, like Viagra, Cialis, and hard mints. Wintergreen chewable tablets compounded with doctor-trusted ingredients. New, discreet, and only available through Hims. At forhims.com/care, you can access licensed medical providers and trusted treatments for ED 100% online. If prescribed, Hims will ship to you for free in discreet packaging. It's that simple. If you're having a hard time getting hard, look no further for a doctor-trusted solution. Just go to forhims.com/care, CARE. No copay, no awkward in-person appointments, no video visits, and no insurance required. ED is personal, and now so is treating it. Go to forhims.com/care to get started today. That's forhims.com/care, CARE. Only available if prescribed. Subscription required. See website for full details and important safety information. Restrictions apply. Hard mints is a chewable compounded drug. The FDA does not approve compounded drugs, nor does it verify their safety or effectiveness. All right, well, we got to move on and get some of these topics in, because there is a federal judge who ruled in favor of Hamburger Mary's in a lawsuit against Ron Desantis. This I love. A federal
Woohoo!
judge in Orlando blocked the enforcement of a Florida law that opponents say stifles the free expression of drag artists, according to newly released court documents. So this happened on Friday when Judge Gregory A. Presnell ordered a preliminary injunction, and this was in response to a lawsuit challenging the bill, which was filed by a drag-themed restaurant. I'm talking about Hamburger Mary's. Ron Desantis signed the SB 1438, titled Protection of Children's Act, as most of us know, into law last month, and state leaders say the legislation aims to shield children from obscene adult live performances. So the good news is the Anti-Gay Protection of Children Act was sent to go into effect on July 1st, coming up here, but the judge ruled that the law cannot be enforced until there's a trial on the merits of the case. So what does that mean? That means that DeSantis won't be wasting taxpayer dollars to have a full trial on a case, and that he'll probably lose anyway. And, I just think it's a lot of things are backfiring for DeSantis. And, we all know he's running for president, but this is not going to bode well for him. And, some people in the comment section where I got this story said, no gay, this We Ho, H-O-E, wrote, no gay should be spending a dime in Florida until this fascist bullshit ends. Boycott the entire tourist industry.
Wow.
I've been on that boycott of Florida for a long time. And, you hate to really punish the people because there's some great people, obviously, in the state of Florida. Our LGBTQI allies, friends are all there as well. But I'm kind of with that person that wrote that.
I hear that.
What did you think when you heard? Yeah.
Why do you want to go somewhere where you feel like you're not wanted? So I'm sure it is going to affect their tourism industries, because if me as an LGBTQ plus person, if they're passing all these laws about not being able to say gay and that I can't go see my favorite drag queens, or there's no drag queen story hour, it doesn't affect me, the drag queen story hour. However, I mean, if I had kids and I wanted to take my nephew to Disneyland or what have you, it's not very, very welcoming for me to go to Florida right now. In fact, we've had what was the name of that organization that issued a warning against traveling to Florida? That when you have to issue a warning about a state, that means that there's something fundamentally wrong with actually traveling there. So I think that this is the NAACP, and I think maybe was it GLAAD? One of the gay ones did it as well too. So it's pretty rough, and I think that this is par for the course. I think things are not going to go well for Ron DeSantis. I guess he never learned the age-old lesson of you don't mess with the drag queen, but now it's coming to proof is in the pudding right now, honey.
Right. Absolutely. All right. We'll see where that goes. Okay. Well, Walgreens across the U.S. are offering free HIV testing for the upcoming National HIV Testing Day. And this is really good because essentially National HIV Testing Day is tomorrow, or when this show drops, Tuesday, June 27th. And to mark the occasion, 400 Walgreens stores across the U.S. will be hosting free HIV testing in conjunction with Greater Than HIV and smaller local health organizations. I can post this I'll post this in the morning if you're listening to the show. If you happen to live in the States.
Wow.
You can go and get tested if you're in between your normal testing. I would highly recommend it. Walgreens says branches in areas disproportionately impacted by HIV are more likely to be offering the testing, which that part I really like. And they're going to have counselors there to provide info and HIV treatment. And most will offer mobile testing units in parking lots with pharmacists and further information in the store. Greater Than HIV is a public information initiative from the Public Health Policy Organization. This unique community-led effort brings people together in a familiar setting to receive free HIV tests and get the latest prevention treatment on HIV. You can connect with local services. And I think this is a great thing. I didn't even know there was a National HIV Testing Day.
Yeah,
I
me
think
either.
we should always know when we should be testing for ourselves, depending on how sexually active you are. I mean, I go every 3 months because I'm on PrEP, but I do like that they're putting it in disproportionately higher impacted areas to combat. I feel like this is one more thing that we're starting to see, when we talk about education about undetectable equals untransmittable. We've been talking a lot about on the show recently. I feel like there's greater awareness. I've been contacted by Gilead to do a unique kind of sponsorship because I really think many organizations are really trying to combat HIV because we need to really eradicate new transmissions of this HIV.
Oh, no, I totally agree. I think this is so amazing. This is great because knowledge is power in the fight against HIV. It not only eliminates stigma, it also allows people to live longer, healthier lives. And them targeting specific areas means that they're actually learning from some of the things that have come out in recent years about how disproportionately it affects certain areas. And I think that them having this nationwide or specific area testing, it only enhances the fact that it will get to the people that need it most. So hats off to Walgreens, darling.
Yes, absolutely. And I just think, I mean, we all, like I said, you equals you, which is great. But if you don't know that you have gotten HIV, you are then, it takes a minute to get on medication before you are undetectable.
Yeah.
And in that period, if you don't know, you're potentially spreading it to other people.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of us have clinics in our major cities where it's free and easy, but it's not available everywhere. And you often have to buy a test, which are not cheap by any means. So I'm glad that a major company like Walgreens is stepping up to the plate on a day of National HIV Testing Day, which, like we said, is tomorrow, Tuesday, January 27th. So good on them.
Yes.
I like that.
Snaps to them.
Well, we love it when you write in, and we are always here to give advice to our listeners, solicited, often unsolicited. And we had somebody write in, and they're struggling with finding guys their own age. Essentially, they wrote into us and they said, I hate the fact that I'm mostly attracted to guys in their mid-20s and that I relate to them more than I relate to guys my own age because it makes me feel immature or kind of predatory, as dumb as that sounds. They wrote, I just very rarely click with older guys. And when I do, I find that I'm the only one trying to maintain our connection. But I also feel like I'm betraying myself by seeing guys who are 10 plus years younger than me. You guys talk a lot about this on the show. Do you think you could give me some advice? Am I being predatory? And why am I struggling to find guys my own age? Well,
oh, wow.
First of all, I thank you for writing into us with that.
Yes, thank
10 years younger than you, I feel is commonplace, whether it's LGBTQ plus or the hetero world, because it's, to me, 10 years isn't that big of a deal. Is it to you, Kodi?
So,
I mean, as you are one right now.
Oh, girl. So I used to have this hard and fast rule that I would not date anyone 10 years older than me or 10 years younger than me. So that's some context on that. But I threw that rule book out the window as I've gotten older. But so, yes, the answer is I don't think that 10 years is really, it just really depends on the person. Were you going to say something else?
I was just going to say 10 years, I don't feel is that, when you were in school back in the day, high school and all of that, it was easy to, find people your own age. Everyone was in your class and they were a year or two older or younger. But I feel like the way people are aging these days, you can look at somebody and you might think that they're around your age, but it's hard to really decipher. And so, unless you're looking at apps like this person perhaps is, but to me, I don't feel like 10 years is that big of a deal. I think when you start getting into 20, 30, 40, you might notice some differences in maturity levels.
Yes.
I'm an equal opportunist. I find that I'm attracted to many. Now, I will say, off at my age at 52, if somebody is in their 20s or early 30s, I might find that we won't have a lot in common, and we're just at different points in our life, and that can be a little challenging at times. Can I have fun? And if I meet somebody, sure, but I would probably prefer somebody within the 10-year span, either younger or older. And I think that that's fair. So my advice is I wouldn't worry so much about that. It's more about the connection. And I think that's one of the beauties of our community is that we don't judge on age so much as other communities do. And we're a lot more accepting.
Oh, yeah. I could not agree more, especially with what you said about maturity level, because that's basically what it boils down to, the maturity level. If you can find someone with common interests that are the same as you, if they're younger than you, then it shouldn't matter how old they are. I think that as long as you are both consenting adults, make sure you check that ID, girl, before you get because you do not want to get clinked up because of dating somebody that's underage. But also, just as long as you're dating somebody of age and making sure that they have the maturity level that you are looking for and the same goals and things that they want out of life at that particular moment, then I say go for it. It shouldn't matter. Don't let anybody judge you in your relationship as long as you find someone that's right for you.
Well stated, and absolutely. I hope that helped and gives you some confidence to not worry so much about that. But keep us posted on this how you're doing. Yeah, we want to hear from you. And if you want some solicited or unsolicited advice, you could always write into us, and we are here for you. It could be relationship or sex advice. All you got to do is go to our website, TAGSPodcast.com, and click on the contact page. Or you can DM any one of us, Kodi or myself.
Yep.
You can DM Kodi at Mr. Maurice on Instagram, or DM me, I am _Steve V, and we'll get to it. Lastly, I just think the song of the summer right now is somebody that I saw right before I left town. I was calling it my Pride concert. I'm talking about Kylie Minogue, who on her 55th birthday released the song Padam Badam, which I am obsessed with. And she said, essentially, somebody was telling me that, a DJ presented her with this song, but Maria Callas originally wrote a song, Padam Padam.
Stop playing games.
Or she had a song, I should say.
Oh,
I'm
really?
going to be corrected, I'm sure, if I don't get that part right. And they took that part of it and then wrote a catchy dance song to it. That song has grown on me. It's all about the heartbeat is what she's talking about in there. And with this new guy that I met in the grocery store in aisle 4 next by the produce
next
section.
to the eggplants and the cucumbers, honey. I could just envision you in the produce section doing kind of lascivious things to these cucumbers and eggplants. But that's just in my mind.
I had this weird thought at one point as one of my pickup lines, and people are always talking about what's the first opening line when you see somebody out. And we were going to grill some steaks, but we also wanted to grill some vegetables. And, when you're in other countries, they have different produce. One of the things they had were these really long peppers that I hadn't seen before. And I thought, if I cut those lengthwise and put them on the grill, I bet they're going to char up really nicely, which ultimately they did. But I wasn't sure are they going to be on the spicy side, hot or not. I didn't really care either way because I like hot. But I thought, you know what? he looks like maybe he lives here. And I totally was going to ask him. And I thought, oh, that might not come out right. Like now he's an expert on this pepper in Mexico. I just thought, no, find another line. And fortunately, he strolled right by me and I said, hola. And he said, hello.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
Padum.
Padum. Is that, do you like this song?
I live. As soon as you said the song of the summer, I was like, it's Kylie Padum, honey, all the way for the win. So
let us know what your song of the summer is. If it's the Kylie song that we're talking about, Padum, or if you've got one, we want to hear from it. We'll read it on the show. So much fun. I know, Kodi, you are hosting Tags Live this Wednesday with our lovely, talented guest. Who are you co-hosting with?
Teddy Alexis. I can't wait. We're going to have so much fun. We're going to miss you, though.
Yes. I have my sister's birthday party back in the San Francisco Bay Area, so I will be missing it for that night, but I'll be back. So enjoy. And thanks, Kodi. So much fun. Once again, follow Kodi on Instagram at Mr. Maurice, and you'll probably see some Pride photos, which will be great. Follow me. I am _Steve V on Instagram for some current pics on the beach in Puerto Vallarta. And in the meantime, continue having hot gay sex. Yes.